This video is brought to you by Dr. Kristen R. Bromley's Guitar Method Book Series and Online Music Academy.
Hi, I'm Dr. Kristen Bromley. Welcome to my online academy. I'm delighted to be here with you in these online lessons. In this video, I'm going to go over minor, major, seventh chords. So we've been learning a lot about seventh chords in the lesson series lately. In this video, I'm going to explain minor, major, seventh chords, and we're going to learn some that we commonly play in first position. So we'll learn A minor, major, seventh, E minor major seventh, and D minor major seventh. After we've learned these, we'll jam together on some chord progressions where these are used. And when I say jam together, of course I mean you, me, and the band, as I have recorded bass and drums accompaniment for us to play right along with. This video accompanies lesson 22 from my Chords and Harmony Books 1 and 2 method book. In the book, we're going to start on pages 144 and 145 as I explain what minor, major, seventh chords are. And then we'll be going on to some other pages as we jam together on the progressions. Okay, so what's a minor, major, seventh chord? This is a minor chord where we add the major seventh. So most recently we've been working on minor seventh chords. That's something new we've added. And before that we learned about major seventh chords versus dominant seventh chords. So basically, to sum it up, we can take a major seventh from a scale or its flatted seventh, the minor seventh, which actually comes from another scale, and we can put either one of those sevenths onto a major chord or a minor chord. So we get major chords with a major seventh or major chords with a minor seventh, also known as dominant seventh chords. We also can have minor major seventh chords, minor chords with a major seventh, or minor chords with a minor seventh. So we've learned the minor seventh chords before, the minor chords with the minor seventh. Now we're going to learn those minor chords with the major seventh. So with these, if you had the root and then you had a flatted third and then you had a fifth, and then you end up with the major seventh, you get a minor major seventh. And I'm demonstrating that with C there. So that's how the sound is. That sounds very different from if you had the flatted seventh and you get the minor seventh on that minor chord. So they sound different. The chord symbol is also different. You'll notice up here that we've got a lowercase m followed by a capital letter. So anytime we have a major seventh being added to a major chord or a minor chord, we have to have something in front of it telling us it's a major seventh. The minor seventh more commonly happens. It's a little less coloristic, and it more commonly happens in the voicings that we use. So that's when the seventh is just thrown on. We see that with the dominant seventh chords when it's just thrown next to the root, major chord with that flatted seventh or minor seventh. And then we see it when we have our minor seventh chords, just seventh thrown on to the root plus something in the chord symbol telling us it's minor. So now we have this major seventh. We have the root, something telling us it's a minor chord, lowercase m, and then the capital letter M next to the 7 tells us it's a major seventh. We see that for A minor major 7, E minor major 7, and D minor major 7 up on the board. If we instead saw A lowercase m and nothing in front of that 7, then it's just a minor seventh chord, which we've learned about previously. It is not a minor major seventh chord. So it gets a little confusing. A lot of my in-person students over the years have just looked at these chord symbols and been like, what is going on here? So that's how that works. You'll also see with the example at the top of page 145 that you can have a minus sign and a triangle. A triangle in front of a seventh is another way of telling us it's a major seventh. All right, so we've got that out of the way. Let's look at these voicings. With all of these, what's happening is we're taking the spot where we normally double the root in a higher octave compared to the lowest place that we play that in, and we've moved it down by 1 fret to give us the major seventh. So with A minor major seventh, we normally have to play A minor, our ring finger here at the 2nd fret of the 3rd string. Now we've got to go down 1 fret and instead have that note in there. So we rearrange our hand. Index finger is going to play 1st fret on that 3rd string. Middle finger is going to play 1st fret on the 2nd string. Ring finger plays 2nd fret on the 4th string. The open 5th and open top string are used. We don't play the low 6th string. And we get A minor major 7th. Now, to get used to playing this, you might just go back and forth between A minor and A minor major 7th. Isn't that a rich sound? It sounds kind of like James Bond. Like we're going into a James Bond movie. So there's A minor major 7. Let's look at E minor major 7. With E minor major 7, we normally have to play E minor, just the regular E minor chord. We normally have our ring finger here at the 2nd fret on the 4th string. Now we got to go down 1 fret. So we're going to have our index finger at the 1st fret of the 4th string, middle finger at the 2nd fret of the 5th string, and the rest of the strings are played open, and we get E minor major 7. Of course, with this one you could go back and forth between E minor and E minor major 7. Sorry, I played E7 there for a second. But E minor and E minor major 7 to get used to that sound. That fingering. So that's E minor major 7. With D minor major 7, we normally have our ring finger playing for a D minor chord at the 3rd fret. Now we need to bring it down to the 2nd fret and we'll get minor major 7th. So D minor major 7th, we're going to have our index finger 1st fret on the top string, middle finger 2nd fret on the 3rd string, and ring finger 2nd fret on the 2nd string. We play the top 4 strings with the 4th string being open. This fingering might be easy for you because it's just like our A minor fingering, only everything just got moved 1 fret higher. Now you can practice this one going back and forth between D minor and D minor major 7th. Just like that. Okay, so we've got these chords. Let's go ahead and jam together on some chord progressions. We are going to play numbers 24, 25, 28, and 29 from pages 153 and 154, and we'll go right in that order. Each one, of course, will happen at 2 different tempos, first a slower tempo and then a faster tempo. If you come across major 7th chords or minor 7th chords or dominant chords, chords that you don't remember how to play that we've learned in one of these previous videos, then they do have the references there on page 143, 144, 145. Any of these pages can help you out with how to play these different chords if you can't remember. So if you have trouble making a chord change, if you can't get from one chord to the next, learning all these new chords, just pause the video and practice going back and forth between the 2 chords and then try getting it in there. You can also just forego the strumming and just work the fingering hand until you're ready to do the strumming. Now with this one, I'm just going to use a down, down, up, down, up, down, up strumming pattern for each of the progressions. Keep it simple as we're working on these newer chords. If you want to use something else, you can, as long as it just works right along with the groove. But I'm just going to keep it simple with the down, down, up, down, up, down, up. All right, it's going to be super fun. Let's go ahead and play these progressions together. Okay, awesome. I hope you've been having so much fun with this. In the next video, we're going to start taking a look, the next few videos, we're going to start taking a look at the movable shapes that we can use, and we're going to start playing all over the neck. A lot of times, these shapes that we're going to be looking at are used in jazz context. So if you're playing in a jazz band or wanted to play some fun American songbook tunes or some jazz tunes, a lot of times these are voicings that are used. These are the best voicings to start with when you're learning jazz. So we're going to be learning those and using some fun jazz rhythms. It's going to be great. Take care, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching this video. If you found it helpful, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. And be sure to check out more great content. You can find more information about me and my products at kristenbromley.com. Take care.